No.
Whoa. I can hear the audio of the video, but I can't see
Sorry?
it. I can hear the audio of the video, but I can't see it. Is that okay?
Yeah, no, yeah, you're not going to see it for until I finish cutting and pasting.
I see.
Yeah. Hello. Was that a feedback or something?
I didn't hear
Do you
anything.
know? Oh, okay. Uh, Maybe it's on my end. I don't know. I turned up my sound. Okay, well, that was, of course, Sam Hirsh, my guest, and I'm happy to have Sam Hirsh here. Hello, Sam Hirsh.
Hello, Cathy. Segal-Garcia.
um,
I
Hi,
love your
everybody.
shirt, by the way.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, that's a great shirt.
Yeah, somebody gave that to me. I thought, oh, it just makes me laugh. I'm really not
Good.
a hard ass, but but I do have
Uh,
my limits.
sure. As we all do. Yes.
Well, that was great. That was your CD release party, is that correct?
Yeah, seems like 50 years ago, but March 3rd, 2020,
Oh,
just before the world shut down.
yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, it was a packed house. It was the last packed house I played for before the whole thing ended. And yeah, it was a great night. It was Super Tuesday. I remember Bernie Sanders had lost that evening,
Oh.
March 3rd. So there were so many memories from that evening. So, yeah, good times, good times.
Um, yeah, so is that a band that you've been playing with for a long time?
Well, Alex Bonham, the bass player, he moved upstate New York during the pandemic, so
He
I haven't
did?
seen him. I haven't seen him since that night, actually.
I didn't even know he moved.
Yeah, he moved. He's gone. He's gone. He's into woodworking now, I believe, or so, I saw something on Facebook he was posting. But we keep in touch from time to time.
I
So
have to write his name down and go look.
yeah, we all miss Alex Bonham. He's a great
Yeah,
bass player and a great friend, a really
yeah.
sweetheart guy. Um, Kevin Canner, we play all the time together at still, and Ralph Moore is legendary cat that I grew up playing with or grew up listening to, and just so elated to have him on my record and to play with him and just consider him my friend. So yeah, yeah,
How
yeah.
much of the record did you write originals for?
Every track but one, so 8 tracks out of 9.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
cool. Very
yeah.
cool.
I love writing,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Your playing is so good. Uh, and I've been a fan, but some, I, I guess I would have to really like study you more to be able to accurately describe you for my own satisfaction.
It's interesting. We haven't played so much together, you and I.
No,
Yeah, yeah. So
but
I'm
I've listened a lot to you. You know what was one of my favorite concerts was I guess it was Henry Franklin's gig at the World Stage.
oh dear Henry,
Nolan
yes.
and Roy McCurdy.
Oh, that was such an epic evening. I loved that evening. Yeah, that's a great band. We were playing the world stage every 2 or 3 months back then with that group. Just legendary.
So good, and you sounded incredible with that group.
Whoa, thank you.
Yeah, which just goes to show you, um, how people, different people will bring out things in your playing, right? I mean,
Yeah,
because Henry Franklin is an interesting musician. I mean, he's like a statesman, elder statesman, and he's from that long ago jazz period, but he's he's modern, and his harmonies are modern, I think, and his time is great. He's just a great player, and he's such a nice person, you
he's
know.
one of my best, dearest friends. So yeah, he'll be at my wedding next week. So
Oh,
yeah, he's
that's
like my
cute, man.
He's like my little brother kind of vibe, or big brother, big.
Right, right. He's your big brother.
He's
You're
my,
his little brother.
that's, that's what I meant to say.
I had I produced a singer, Pierre Chambers, who's Paul Chambers' son.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I thought Henry would be great for that project for various reasons.
Oh,
So we had him and Cameron Clayton.
oh, great.
Yeah. And wait, did I say that right? Cameron Clayton. Clayton Cameron.
Clayton Cameron. Clayton Cameron.
I always forget.
Oh, it's definitely Clayton Cameron.
Okay, okay, good, good.
Yeah.
Sorry, Clayton. But that was a great pairing. We had pianist Karen Hammock, who is a really good player. But anyway,
I know Karen. I know Karen.
yeah,
Yeah, I was good friends with Chris. Rest in peace. But,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he must have loved you. He liked serious players, serious
Yeah.
good musicians.
We were playing once a week at Glenn Garrett's house. Do you know Glenn Garrett?
Yes, and I know about that little hang too.
You do? Oh, yeah. He would make muffins and coffee, and we would just go over there and play every Thursday morning for a couple of years. I love those guys.
Yeah, and Glenn Garrett, I know him from the old days too. He used to do some really interesting things when in LA when things were really happening. It was like it's probably the 80s, and he was doing some really, really cool things, Glenn.
He's really into bossa novas. Yeah, was he doing a lot of that back then, or?
Yep, he
Yeah,
was. He
yeah, for sure.
was.
And big band writing, of course. Right. I
Yeah,
mean, that's
yeah.
the thing. Yeah. I met him playing in Mike Barone's band.
Oh, really?
Speaking of Dante's, yeah, I was in Mike Barone's band for 8 years or so, 7 or 8 years.
Were?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I met Glenn there, but hearing old tapes of Barone's band at Dante's, that was a whole thing too. I mean, what a scene. Wish I could have been there for all of that.
That
You
was a
know?
crazy scene. Yeah, that was, it was a much simpler world back then. I mean, all around. But in LA, the community was much smaller, and and everybody knew each other, and everybody was, playing like a Thursday morning or whatever, or
Yeah.
hanging out till 4 in the morning, or
Yeah,
I mean, it was definitely a different scene. I mean, I'm
absolutely.
sure I'm sure those you have pockets of people doing that here still, but
Absolutely.
um, yeah, it was a smaller community, really.
Now it's so big and it changes so much. There's so many cats moving to town every day, it seems like. So the turnover is just is it's
Crazy.
incredible to watch. And now I've been here for almost 15 years, so I've seen just so many
Wow.
iterations of this, and just seeing so many young cats become really great and just old players doing what they've always done and just it's amazing. What a great scene LA is. It doesn't get enough love, I
I
think.
agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. I think LA is really it's really interesting. I used to study some American Indian stuff, and
Uh-huh.
there was this book called Seven Arrows, which talked about how a person was their soul wise were it was from the east, west, north, or south, and each one of those had this different perspective associated with a different animal. Like one
Wow.
was a mouse. The eagle was on the east, and it was like broad seeing, things like that. There was a bear,
Wow. Wow.
and along those lines, I always thought that, well, here's what I thought for years. You'll laugh at this. So in New York, I'm from Boston. I almost moved to New York, but I stayed in
Uh-huh.
LA when I came out
Uh-huh.
here. But
Wow.
in New York, I had friends, so I felt like there was a big wheel turning, and the challenge was to jump on the wheel. And on the West Coast, there was no wheel turning, and the challenge was to build it.
Right, right.
And
Yeah.
I really saw that over the years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow.
pretty
Why
trippy.
did you why did you decide to move to LA from Boston?
Well, the first reason was to get away from my mom. She was, I had two sisters, twin sisters, and they were mom's girls, and I was daddy's girl, and my father was a musician.
Okay.
And not straight thinking, right? So that was me, and my mom did not want me to turn out like my dad. So she was extremely manipulative, and I mean, she was not a horrible mother. She was
Yeah.
just so attached
Uh-huh.
that I had to move, to to
Wow.
get my own life.
3,000 miles you had to move.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I went to San Francisco first, but then I thought it was too much like Boston, so I came down to LA. Then I was going to go to New York, and I met my first husband, Gus Garcia, and then I stayed, and here I am,
Here you
20 years
are.
later.
Wow. We're also thankful for that, for you being here.
Thanks. I like
Yeah.
I like LA. I think LA is great. It has everything.
I think it's the best city in the world. And I think it's, if you're young doing what you love to do, I think there's no better place to do that, and just, yeah, to live and be sunshine and
Yeah,
opportunity.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of people saying hello, so I'm just going to tell you. Mark Baldrich, you might not know him, but he comes on
Oh.
a
How do
lot.
I see the how do I see the people commenting? Is
Well,
there any?
you'd have to go to my Facebook page.
Oh, maybe
Uh,
I'll maybe I'll open that on my phone. How about that?
that's what I do,
Oh,
just
okay.
just to check, that
Okay.
everything's working right. But just make sure the sound is down.
Uh-huh. Oh, 15 comments already. I see. I see.
Dan Davila has put up all music, your guest credits, which are
My guess.
usually about 75% right. We'll
Yeah.
look at that.
Yeah, that site is so strange. I never really understand how that works, but
Yeah. And Taylor Hatch, he's a guitarist. He's over
oh,
at UNT.
okay.
He always asks great questions, so we'll ask him. And then Roland Askerans, um, we have questions from him. And Dan has posted your CD on Bandcamp.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you. I
Isn't
love
that nice?
Bandcamp.
Okay, so first, um, if I'm going in order,
Uh-huh.
Taylor has great questions. He actually interviews people too.
Oh, okay.
He said he's curious as to sorry, how you've constructed and developed what feels like fluid virtuosity in your playing. Did a lot of that come from listening to players who have technical facility and trying to transcribe what they did?
It's so funny because I don't think of myself as a technical player at all. I don't have nearly the chops that most of these cats out there have. They cut me to shreds as far as just plain piano playing goes, right? I guess I have like a natural ability to play, but I've never thought about it in a technical sense. I mean, I took classical lessons for 7 years growing up, and I practice it for fun at home here, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, listening to records and, of course, just the same things everyone would say, just listening to records and transcribing, sure, and playing with guys that kick your butt. I mean, that's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, I don't think of myself as a technical player, but I really appreciate you saying that about me.
Okay, and Roland, he's from Bolivia.
Oh,
So
wow.
he's curious how you ended up touring there.
I was in a group with Henry Franklin, and you know Ben Clatworthy too, don't you? Yeah, we play your series at that restaurant in
Yeah, Bar
downtown,
Fedora.
Bar
Right.
Fedora. We
Yeah,
played that hit one time.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
that's right. So it was me, Henry, Ben Clatworthy, and Yayo Morales. And Yayo's from Bolivia. So he took us to his home, and the first time we went there, it was just to play for the festival in La Paz, which is this beautiful mountain town at like 14,000 feet. We had to, there were certain shows where we had to play with tubes. What do you call it? The oxygen
Oh,
tanks.
yeah, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it was
Wow.
far out, man. And then the second time we went there, we did more of a tour, and we hit 3 or 4 different cities. And it was all Yayo. It's just his connection with the people running the festival there, and some delegates, and we went over there as U.S. delegates, kind of, So it was,
Yeah.
and I'll never forget those experiences, just to travel and to play and hang out with Henry and Ben. I love those guys, so that's family to me. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I love Ben too. He's funny. Um, let's see. Joyce Glasgow says hi. I don't know if you know her. She's a big fan and an artist from Seattle, but she knows a lot of people.
Wow. I'll be in Seattle July 10th with my band.
Oh, there you go,
Yeah,
Joyce. Whereabouts?
at the Royal Room.
Oh yeah, that's kind of a newer room or
The
something,
newer
right?
room, yeah. I think in the last 3, 4, 5 years, I think
Yeah.
they've been around, and yeah, they're booking all kinds of different things. So I'm happy to be able to play there. I'm playing Portland 2 nights before that, for 2 nights before that. So it's a little West Coast Pacific Northwest run.
Cool. Very nice.
Yeah,
And are
yeah.
you bringing the band?
I'm bringing my trio, yeah. Kevin Canner on drums and Luca Alamano on bass. So
He's
yeah,
so good.
yeah, yeah. I
Luca,
love those
man.
guys. Yeah,
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 he's really
yeah.
good. Okay, another Taylor question, and there's several of them, but even when you play rubato, let's say if you're accompanying a vocalist, how do you practice breathing with the instrument and relying on pushing forward without going too fast?
Oh my
Good
goodness. Wow.
question.
That's a great question, and it's so difficult to answer. I mean, just playing with a vocalist, just the natural push and pull of that, right? Just,
Yeah.
hearing phrasing and really listening to the lyrics and how to color those lyrics, I mean, that really kind of lends itself to how the piano breathes, and just how to use that pedal the right way, and what register to be playing in, and it's so in the moment too that it's so hard to explain. Did I explain it correctly? I don't know.
Well, I'm going to add a little bit more because,
Sure.
like in question form, I've played with some amazing accompanists, especially rubato.
Uh,
I always tell my students that rubato is an art form. They don't even get it. It's like,
no.
you know, do you realize what the piano player is actually doing with you? Or guitar player. But like I made a record with Ross Tompkins. Do you remember him?
Oh, no, no, I don't know.
So Ross Tompkins was like one of the premier jazz players in that period of time we were talking about at Dante's.
Yeah.
He was on the Tonight Show band with
Okay.
Doc Severinsen, um, and his accompaniment and rubato. Well, first of all, it was like you couldn't epitomize jazz music like standard the Great American Songbook any more than him. He was just amazing, and his rubato thing was unbelievable.
Hmm.
So, but I mean, I don't know about breathing, Taylor, and that may be in your education. Maybe your teacher has talked about breathing,
Hmm.
but I know that it's a very intimate relationship with myself and the pianist. Like you said, you're listening to the words also and the musical phrasing, but there's like an underlying connection.
Yeah.
And in a really good r- rubato relationship, there's a timing thing that happens. And of course, sometimes the piano leads and sometimes the vocal leads.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty gorgeous experience.
I think, and I think the only way to learn it is to throw yourself in the fire and be on the bandstand and really do that, and fail several times,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's really the only way to explain that. Um,
I've
yeah.
definitely told some piano players along the years, like, don't do that.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Don't
Right.
play my melody.
Yeah, right. That's the main thing. A lot of piano players they do. They try to play the melody. It's
Yeah.
not your purpose at all. It's really to hear that harmony, but also some counter lines and fill the space
Yeah.
accordingly. You know. So
Yeah. And
yeah.
one more thing that I'm just going to say that I don't like when piano players or accompanists do. When I sing a tension note, don't change the chord
Right. Of course.
to
Of
make
course.
it right. I'm
Yes.
singing a tension note. Okay?
Yeah.
Get
Read.
it. Get away.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Just remember that, Taylor. Okay, so
Good
what's the
question.
biggest what's the biggest piece of advice anyone gave you to inspire your artistic development?
Wow. Well, I have to point out. I went to the Port Townsend Jazz Workshop in
Yeah.
2007, I want to say. And I got to work with Benny Green, the pianist Benny Green. I was in his combo, which was like the top combo at the camp, and just to work with him. And I had one experience where he asked us to learn tunes. He was teaching us all Art Blakey compositions by memory, or just the stuff that the band did. It was Moanin', it was One by One, and it was Blues March. Uh,
I know
and
which one
we
you
were
mean.
learning these all with no charts from memory. And Benny was particularly hard on me, just getting exactly the voicings that they used together, you know. Uh, and I went home that evening and practiced them, but I didn't practice them enough. I came back to the rehearsal the next day and I didn't have it together. And Benny chewed me out in the combo rehearsal. Sam, if this was the real world, you know, in his like, Sam, if this was the real world, man, you'd be fired, man. You know, like this kind of thing. And I couldn't. I just started crying. You know, and
Oh.
I was 17 or 18 years old, you know, just so
Oh.
young. And you know, just that made me feel like, oh my goodness, I need to get my shit together. I need to really be ready for every rehearsal, every gig, be prepared, practice the way I need to, you know. So I think that was the very first experience I had where it just really like, Sam, do this, man. You have to focus, pay attention, work hard, and that kind of shapes your artistic development. You know, at that point you start transcribing what you need to transcribe and listening to all the records and playing with guys that are better than you and getting your butt kicked, like I said before. And you know, so that's kind of the main story, just as far as artistic development. Also, I grew up playing. Before that, I grew up playing in my dad's band. My dad is also a saxophone player, so we share that similarity. And I grew up playing in his band of all older cats. You know, they were all in their 50s, and I was a teenager, you know. And we were playing in smoke filled bars back then. And so, you know, just growing up playing the real music, just bebops, hardcore bebop with those kind of guys, you know, that was huge on my artistic development. And of course, being around my dad's record collection, a lot of which I have in my home now. Um, yeah, just studying the music on my own, hanging out with friends, you know, just really other teenagers at that time that were into the music as much as I was, and then going to USC, you know, and just meeting all those kind of guys, you know, those people that took the music in a whole other direction. So yeah, just you know, a combination of all those things.
Did you grow up here?
No, I grew up in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was born in Japan.
Uh-huh.
My dad met my mom in Japan. I was born there, and I moved to Portland when I was 4.5, 5 years old. So I grew up there, went all through high school there, and I moved down here to go to USC in 2009. So
Okay.
yeah.
Did you know Nancy King up there?
I didn't. Well, I played with her actually a couple times at the Portland the Mount Hood Jazz Festival. You
Yeah.
remember that? Yeah, I went to Mount Hood Community College, and she worked a lot with the band there, so I got to perform with her a little bit. But yeah, I knew her a little bit. I don't know if she'd remember me necessarily. It's been so long. Um,
She
yeah, but
might. She's got that kind of mind where she does remember stuff like that.
she might. Yeah. You're totally right on that. And I love, you know,
Mount Hood. When I was doing some adjudicating for high school, whatever they're called, there's such weird things.
Sure.
Like this high school contest where,
Competitions. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and it's not just jazz, it's like show music, and I don't know how the kids even go to school. It's like full-blown productions. But anyway, Mount Hood had a superior choral guy, like jazz choir guy. I don't remember his name.
You remember Dave Bardoon? Might
Oh,
have been Dave
okay.
Bardoon. Yeah, which he wrote a lot of arrangements. I mean, he was taking really hip stuff like Jeff Hamilton trio arrangements and making them into, full SATB voicings and,
Oh, okay.
yeah, he was super hip. Had a ton of piano chops, knew thick voicings, and I got a lot out of Dave Bardoon up there. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Dave Bardoon, is he still around?
He's definitely still around. I don't think he teaches at Mount Hood Community College anymore. I don't know what their music program is like these days, but I mean,
Yeah,
like I've been in LA for 15 years
yeah,
almost. So,
yeah.
but yeah, I got a lot out of going to community college. It was like one of those things where out of high school, I got into all the New York schools, but I didn't get enough money to go.
Yeah.
So the alternative was to go to community college for a couple of years and just kind of get my grades up. But it was all music classes, so I got almost straight A's. And and USC looked at that a couple of years later, and they're like, "Oh, let's have you here." So they made it financially doable for me to do that, and I moved to LA.
Who were your teachers at USC?
My first one was Russell Ferrante.
Oh, okay.
The genius that is Russell Ferrante. I mean, just talking about voice leading. My goodness, this cat just knows all of that, and just even he had it typed up in the worksheets, and I think I still have those worksheets to this day. But just the way he would break things down, but just just his aura, Russ,
I
just
do. Yeah.
he's magical. He's magical and just
Yeah.
so kind and gentle, and that was a great first teacher to have down here. And then I transitioned to Alan Pasqua, who just blew my mind every single lesson. I owe him so much just for just a lot of things that I think about these days. And yeah, I love Alan so much. And then Op Morrow too. Alan was on sabbatical, and Op Morrow Ruiz filled in for him, so I got to know Op Morrow that way. And Op Morrow and I are still friends to this day. And so that just being in that room, with those three cats, it's a lot of piano, it's a lot of harmony. My goodness.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for any better. That's really amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
yeah.
See, Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, Los Angeles. And though those three guys, like you wouldn't know of them necessarily unless you really knew the music or
Yeah,
you were living in LA, right? I mean, they're just so a part of the LA scene in this special way. It's just everyone needs to know who those three cats are, They're just so heavy in their own
yeah.
ways. You
Did
know.
you happen to catch Russell's gig at Sam First last year?
No, no, I missed it.
It was it was like they did streaming for
Okay.
it too, because I couldn't go for some reason. But
Yeah,
oh my
yeah,
God,
I should have
the
tuned in,
friggin'
man.
trio was like,
Hmm.
Russell is just, when Russell first came to town, that was before the Yellow Jackets, but the group was together.
Hmm.
And then their manager, because they were playing for Robin Ford, and then their manager said, let's just make you a group. Let's call you the Yellow Jackets. And yeah, Russell was. I just always, even at that point, his rhythm and harmony was
Hmm.
really yummy. And
Yummy.
yeah, just
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a good word to describe it. Yeah, it's delicious.
delicious. He's such a nice guy. Well, all those guys are really cool. They're
I
just
mean, and not to mention Bob Minzer was my theory teacher, and I mean, come on, you can't go wrong with the faculty at USC.
yeah, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, um, I I barely have to think of questions because it's all here. Uh, Taylor, again, I'm telling you, Taylor is a good question person. Do you
Cool.
feel like when you're working on being minimalistic in your playing, how does practice having wait, what? What did you say, Taylor? How do practice having effective space when you're working in all band settings?
Wait, what?
I don't understand what you said here. Minimalistic in your playing.
I think that's important.
Yeah.
Minimalism, not playing.
Maybe, in some way that it, the effect is that you have space in different bands, that you use
Uh-huh.
space.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as far as leaving space goes, my main role model for all that is Lee Konitz. I think
Oh,
he's the epitome of just playing beautiful lines, no licks,
yeah.
just totally original phrases, but leaving so much space. And he's a genius. I've transcribed a lot of Lee Konitz, in particular, a duo record of him and Red Holloway
Oh,
playing together. No, no, Red Mitchell. Sorry, Red Mitchell
yeah.
on bass, of course, not Red Holloway, the saxophone player. But yeah, that kind of just leaving space, and so in my lines, that's where I kind of get that concept from. But in my as you get older, I think you start to realize this music on a deeper level, right? So just in the moment, kind of just stepping away from the instrument. Piano is beautiful because it's the only instrument you can actually just take your hands off the instrument and listen for a while. And I think when you do that, you just find so many treasures within the beat, within the groove, within the music, the harmony, that it makes you want to either not play or engage in just a completely different way. And I think that's just always to have that on your mind. Be conscious of what else is going on the bandstand. What is the drummer doing, and how is the bass player interacting with that? How is the soloist at the moment, the saxophone player or the trumpet player, how are they interacting with that group? And how can I fit in so that it's not too much, it's not too little, it's just tasteful, it's elegant, it's poignant. How can I get it to be that way? So I'm always thinking about this, and sometimes I'm guilty of playing too much, as we all are, I think. So just kind of always thinking that. And I think as I get older, it'll just become a deeper understanding of all of that. So
I agree with you.
uh,
I think this is a good moment to go listen to you.
oh,
And
listen to me play too much.
exactly. No, I'm kidding. No, I mean, but it does make sense to listen now. But yeah, so let's see. Um, I don't know. There's so much of you. It's interesting because there is a lot of you. There's how about when you're smiling or
Sure, we take that,
Taylor?
we burn that one. It's really fast, but I don't know if there's much space left. I remember not liking this video because I pick an extra like two choruses, and I was like, why would I choose to do that in the moment? But
Well, I'm not going to listen then. Okay.
no, I mean it's fine. You can listen to any of it, but just yeah, I don't like listening to watching videos of myself. It's just like so critical.
Well, there is the Sam first thing, and we could shift around
Oh
to.
yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we played that. When was that? In June or something. Yeah, June 3rd. Yeah.
All right, it's about to start. Can you hear that okay?
Yeah, I can. Oh, this is Chick Corea's Bud Powell.
I know this song. I sing this.
Are there lyrics to this one?
Yeah,
No kidding.
cool lyrics.
Really?
Yeah.
Who wrote the lyrics?
I think it was the same guy who wrote, like the earlier stuff, like Crystal Silence, all those lyrics. I forget. I'll send you my version of it.
What vocalist has a version of it?
Cathy Segal-Garcia.
Yeah. Are you? What? Okay.
I don't think there's many actually.
There's not many. Okay.
No,
It wasn't from the 80s or 90s or something like.
no, I don't
Okay.
think so.
I see. You know Luca?
I do.
You know Kevin too?
Yep.
Oh, good. I'm actually playing with Luca tonight at Sam Hirsh for a private party. So,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Cool.
This is before they got the new Yamaha in there.
Oh,
The piano they have, the Yamaha they have now is just gorgeous.
Oh,
Such
wow.
a beautiful butter, like butter.
oh. Nice. Nice playing on this, yeah. Talking about the man, Bud Powell.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
cool.
That's one of those tunes that you need to keep working on forever. You know, it's like those changes. They seem simple at first, but then when you get into them, they're all over. You know, it's crazy. That 6 bar phrase in the middle of it on the bridge there, and just yeah, I love that tune so much.
I do too. I love it. And not to mention the melody, the way the rhythm of the melody.
Yeah.
Uh, it's a very interesting song, but really you guys played it so good.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you really stretched out in it. It was great.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
See, I hear that those trio recordings now, and I said, you know, we do this weekly gig since October, and that was 2 months before we started that weekly gig. I feel like we're so much tighter now, and so I got to make some new videos here. But that was cool. I'm glad I hadn't heard that since June, so thank you for playing.
Oh, you're doing the Sunday, right?
Yeah, yeah. I run the
I
Sunday
have to
night.
come down there, man. I
Come
just,
on. If you ever want to bring your band in, let me know. I'll book you
oh,
for the
cool.
8 p.m. set, and then my trio always goes on at 9:30. So
That's cool. I'd
yeah.
like to do that. I've been working a lot with Gary Fukushima, over the years.
Oh, sure.
He's
Yeah.
talk about a unique player too, like just
Uh-huh.
his sense of rhythm and
Yeah,
harmony. It's
yeah,
really
yeah,
very interesting.
yeah. Gary's great. Gary's
Yeah.
great.
You're dinging. Would you mind turning that off?
Well, I'm not sure how that's coming. It's coming through my laptop.
Oh, okay.
That's the issue.
Sometimes
I
mine
don't know
says
how to.
too. No, no
I don't know
problem.
how to turn that sound off.
I thought it
Everybody,
might.
stop texting me. Stop texting me.
Yeah,
So I can say.
I thought it was no problem. I thought it was your phone.
Yeah.
Um,
No, my phone is off. Yeah. Sorry about that.
no problem. Yeah, so I'll send you the Bud Powell. That was on my one of my first records. That was a really good record. It was a I traveled through Japan with this guy Philip Strange, who was kind of a little bit like a Keith Jarrett type of player, and we did our first record. We recorded at the Mad Hatter with Bernie Hirsch, with Mark Johnson and Peter Erskine.
Cool.
Yeah, it
Wow.
was good,
Man,
and
what a band.
yeah, and that was on there.
Oh, cool. I'll check that out. Is that streaming or is that
It's probably streaming, yeah, and I can send you a link or something. But yeah,
cool? Cool.
that was
Uh,
fun. That was a good record. Really nice to work on
yeah,
vinyl.
bet it was.
Yeah.
Man.
So
Wow.
okay, so let's see. I know a bunch of stuff. Oh, Ed Bennett said hi.
Ed Bennett. Oh man. He's the baddest bass player, you know. Oh man. I miss Ed so much. Hi Ed. Hope to play with you again soon, man.
Ed lived down here too. You probably knew him from up north, or did you know him
I
from
know
down here?
I knew him from up north. Yeah, he was like Portland's most working bass player when I was growing up. He played on my college audition tape, to actually.
Really?
But
Aw.
yeah, yeah, we go way back. I think even my little sister and his son went to school together. There were some things like that, some connections like that, and yeah, I miss you, Ed. Hope you're doing well. Hope you and Jill are doing well.
He was on
Yeah.
here. We interviewed him. It was
Oh
fun.
yeah,
Yep.
cool. So you know Ed from back in LA then.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm
Wow.
by the way, I'm sending you because my friend Dan, found me on YouTube with Bud Powell, so I'm sending you that.
Oh,
Um,
great. It's a video?
well,
Cool.
I don't think it's a video. I think it's a YouTube, you
Uh,
know. Um,
sure.
yeah, that was a really nice
Cool.
record. I enjoyed that a
I just
lot.
I just got it. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank
Um,
you.
so, so, well, what are you working on particular things right now? Are you different things than before, or are you working on? Obviously, you have like on Sundays. Is it that trio that you were talking about,
That's, that's Kevin and Luca. Yeah.
and you're
Uh,
playing new material or old material or whatever?
it's mostly all original stuff there. I use it kind of as just a workshop for my own writing and you know yeah, just getting Kevin and Luca tight. You know, we have three sets worth of music memorized now. No one's reading music. It's all original.
Oh,
We
very
even have some
impressive.
have arrangements on some standards, you know. I mean, we have a whole thing worked out. So it's really exciting for me to really push that band forward. You know, we have some exciting dates in the books right now already, and so and a little West Coast tour in the works, and you know, just keep building on that. You know, my next album will have that core of guys playing those tunes. I'm gonna add some horn players that I've been working with lately as well. That I invite to the Mint every once in a while to play with us. Um, yeah, so that project that's my heart and soul is that the Sam Hirsh trio, quartet, quintet, you know, however you want to call it, you know. So I love working that group. I'm just so fortunate to have a weekly thing where I can actually just take it and workshop it, you know. So
Absolutely, man.
and in the process inviting all my friends to come and play. There's just been so many different kinds of bands coming in and every week is a gas. It's just been amazing. So yeah, packed the place so many times. You know, January was a little slow because of Omicron, but up until the holidays, I mean, it was really a hang. I'm trying to, you know, we lost the blue whale, you know. Sam First is difficult to get to. I'd love to make this like, you know, one of the main scenes happening. You know, it's right in the middle of town. I happen to live 3 minutes from there driving. So it's good for me. And, you know, I just want to make it a scene, a hang, you know,
Yeah.
and just invite all kinds of cast to come out and play. So, and so far it's just been just that. So I'm
Yeah.
really, really proud of it. And let's see where it goes from here. You know, and the owner is super into what I'm doing. So
Yeah.
it's great. Yeah. Yeah.
That's so cool. Well, I mean, God, there's a lot of great shit happening, man.
I do.
But I want to come out. I usually Sundays, there's the Urban Press Winery over here in Glendale. My friend books, and a lot of, good community people are playing there, me too. And that's during the day. And then Brad Rebuchin has this long running gig at the Red Door, which is in Toluca Lake. And
Wow. Never heard.
that's
Wow.
oh, it's great. Like last time
Crazy.
when I went, it was him and forget the bass player because he'd been here and gone and here again, but Gary Fukushima and Mark Ferber. So,
Wow.
it was, yeah. And the bar is it's very small and real, kind of old bar kind of, it's great. But
Wow.
then the mint, you know how long the mint has been there? Like
1937. 1937.
that is so outrageous.
Nat King Cole played the Mint the night his daughter was born
Oh,
and invited the whole staff back to his house for a celebration. Isn't that a piece of history? I mean,
wow.
yeah, yeah. So the Mint is legendary. So you know, just yeah, it's cool. But that's so cool that there's other things going on there. What you're doing, you know, out in Glendale and
Yeah.
LA's like that. You know, it's just there's so many people doing this out here, and you can be a part of the scene and still not know everything that's happening. You know.
True.
That's great though. I just had Ferber played in my trio. Kevin was out of town on a road thing, and I had Ferber play with me. I love Mark so
I
much.
do
He's
too.
one of the baddest cats in the world, hands down.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's great.
Yeah. And then what else was I going to say? Oh yeah. Well, yesterday my guest was Joel Taylor. Do you know Joel?
We may have met a couple times. I think we did some sessions with. Wow, I'm blanking on the tenor player that's a astronaut.
Oh, Chuck Manning.
Yeah, Chuck Manning. Why didn't I blank? I just haven't seen him in
God.
2 years. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We did some sessions with Chuck, and you know, I was going over to Chuck's house for a while. I can't believe I just spaced on Chuck's name, man. I'm sorry,
Oh,
Chuck.
that's
If you hear
okay.
this, I'm so sorry, man. We've played so many dates together, and I just haven't seen him in 2 years. So,
No, that's fun. That's funny, but it's funny you called him an astronaut. But it's close. But
Yeah, cool. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but
A
don't realize
rocket scientist,
he's a
rather.
rocket scientist. Yeah, and his brother, he and his twin brother.
Right, right. His
Yeah,
twin brother. Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Um, well, Joel, he has the gig in Pasadena at the 1881 that he's had for a long
I've
time too.
I have yet to play there, but Henry's told me about it. Chuck
Yeah,
has told me about it. Chuck has called me for it a couple times. I just couldn't make it.
yeah, yeah,
Is that a good scene out there?
yeah. And it's
Cool.
Fridays, so it's
Cool.
not on your day. So
Wow, right on, right on.
yeah, yeah. It's really, yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff happening.
It is coming back to life, huh? That's
Yeah.
amazing.
And
Love it.
not a jazz room, but there's places like the Nebulon, which I've never been to, but a friend of mine is coming out here to play there. But I think it's more of a maybe an Americana or, acoustic rock kind of a room, the
Yeah.
Nebulon. And then what about ETA? Have you been there?
Yeah, I've hung there so many times.
Yeah.
Wow, I love that scene. Yeah, yeah. I've never played there myself, but I've seen Larry Goldings and Christian Newman and all sorts of Graham Dector, and I've seen all kinds of guys there. It's a great hang.
See, I've
Per-
never been there actually.
great whiskey collection, I might add, if I might add.
Nice.
It's a great hang. Yeah,
Yeah, I got to go over there too. And
yeah, yeah.
there's so much going on.
There's so much going on. Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah,
great.
that's cool. Well, do you find that that the fact that you have a steady gig that makes you not particularly hustle other gigs?
Um, I'm always trying to hustle. I always sending email. I'm always sending emails to either clubs in town or out of town. I'm always like, oh, I wonder if that restaurant would dig some live music. On my daily walks here on Fairfax or wherever. Just kind of. Oh, I wonder if they would dig some live music on, on a Tuesday evening or something. But yeah, I am very fortunate, and I don't feel like I need to find any more work for my trio. And I've been very fortunate that a lot of things just kind of fall in my lap, right? So, like Kevin Canner, my drummer for years now, has been doing the mint. He was doing the mint since 2005.
Right.
With the original cats, it was Gerald Clayton on piano, and then later it was Josh Nelson, but like Walter Smith and so many guys played there back then. It was long before I ever moved to town. And then so he kind of got tired of doing it, after all these years. And he said, Sam, man, you do it, man. You got a band, so many more cats than I do, like different kinds of cats than I do. And just,
Yeah.
so he just kind of gave me the reins. And, I've just kind of done what I do, It's, yeah.
Cool. I had a jam session for 15 years every Wednesday, and the
Wow.
first 7 years were the best. They were that was at the Sportsman's Lodge in Studio
Oh,
City.
I played a private party there once.
Yeah, yeah, they had a
Cool.
lot of party rooms too. But those
Uh-huh.
7 years, they were probably like your Mint thing is slamming
Uh,
200 people in the room sometimes, and
Feeling.
um, I was a good leader because I would recognize if the band was playing and somebody came in with something, and I thought, yeah, I'll just bring them onto the stage because there was,
Ooh.
just Nick Mancini actually started playing at that jam when he first came to town,
Oh.
and singers would do stuff like get up together and sing together, and it was really fun. Freddie Hubbard used to come hang out, and you
Oh,
know
lovely. Wow.
anyway, after the 7 years, it's for me, it started kind of going downhill. It started kind of getting to a mediocre singer jam.
Oh,
And
shit.
finally, I was just like,
Uh,
I just can't take it anymore.
yeah.
So I stopped, and which was interesting because for me, I was thought of as the jam queen, and
Okay.
once you kind of throw down the name, then it's like, oh, there's Cathy. Oh, isn't she a singer? Yeah, she's a singer.
Uh-huh.
you know,
Uh-huh. Interesting.
so yeah, it was an interesting hang, but I'm definitely
What years were you doing that? Was that the 2000s?
yeah. Let's see. I started doing it around I guess 99 maybe.
Wow. Okay.
And then
I
I
was
had to
I
convince the
was 10
guy
years
at
old.
first. Yeah,
Yeah. Huh.
every Wednesday.
Wow. No kidding.
Yeah,
Well,
it was
so
great.
did a lot of the legendary, like you said, Freddie Hubbard, but were there a lot more legendary guys that would just come in and hang like that?
Um,
That caliber too, or
well, Freddie didn't play actually. I think his mouth was fucked up then.
by then, yeah.
Yeah, but I think for the most part, if there were legendary guys, they hung out at the bar. But there was Rick James, believe it or not, came in and sang. And it's
Oh,
really funny because we were all amused because he got up and he sang Misty and he started singing like, nice. And then he decided in his head that he had to add something, you know. And
huh.
then it was stupid, you know.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah. But
Wow.
we were all so intrigued by that. It was like, dude, just stop. Just this
Yeah.
is jazz,
Yeah.
just like you started was great.
Like he went into super freak, like in the bridge or something. Like, like wow,
Interesting.
wow, far out, man. Rick James, huh?
Yeah.
Never know who you're gonna get out here. There's just
Yeah.
so many cats living here. It's crazy.
But that was a great scene. There weren't a lot of jam sessions, and so people really made friends and got to know each other, and musical stuff happened out of it. It was really nice. People, they came every week, and it was a great scene. Yeah,
Wow,
really great.
wow,
Yeah.
so cool.
Um, let's see. So, what else? Yeah, I know Priscilla. She misses my jam sessions. Those jam sessions were good. And do you teach? Did you talk about that?
I teach, yeah, I teach quite a bit. I was actually just up in Monterey this past weekend doing a whole series of master classes for their Jazz Festival Foundation. That was really fun. I have a healthy private practice, just private students, and um, I do the Jazz Bakery summer camp. I do
Oh yeah,
The Quincy Jones Jazz Bakery summer camp thing
yeah, yeah.
with the Monterey Jazz Festival summer camp. And then I volunteer at this school every Thursday morning, actually, for under like kids that have been kicked out of LAUSD. There's a lot of foster home situations and things like that. I just go in there once a week and just play piano with them. Just kind of teach them whatever they want to learn off YouTube, the hip hop songs or whatever. And I've been doing that for wow, almost 10 years. Uh, yeah,
Damn.
yeah,
Wow.
I
It's a
love
long
it.
time to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, I love it so much, and yeah, just giving back. So many people gave to me to grow my artistry and everything. So just to give back as much as possible. Just yeah, I love it so much, and I really love teaching.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just yeah, so I do quite a bit of that as well. So
Huh. Why? I'm curious. Why would a kid be thrown out of LA? Uh,
behavioral issues.
I
We've
see.
seen kids that burn down buildings or classrooms. Just all sorts of things I've seen in and out of there. But they're doing such great work over there. And there's a middle school, elementary, middle school, and then there's a high school that they all go to. And I go to both. They're both in Inglewood. So I just drive like 3 minutes to get from one to the other, and I just watch these kids grow up all through the years. So it's been a really magical experience,
Do you
actually.
find that, I mean, I would imagine so because I know the power of, music for so many different reasons, but do you see them change?
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially if they're in the piano class, they have to be on good behavior to be in my class to begin with.
Ah,
So the fact that they don't get to come to my class if they miss any other classes, so it makes them come to their regular classes more often. And they're just better behaved overall. And then if they spend their time focusing on the piano, I have a couple kids that can really play, It's not just Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, but it's, full pieces. They're playing Queen songs and little Mozart ditties here and there and whatever it is, they just the ability to focus and just really practice something. And they get a little keyboard at home. Their parents buy them something that they can practice on. And it's just really a life-changing thing. So it's really beautiful to watch them grow and just become adults that way.
What's
So
the name of the school?
Slauson Learning Center. They're doing great work over there. It's a father and son duo. The father is the principal, and the son is the vice principal. And
Oh,
they just, yeah, the father's been doing it for 35 years, I think. Like Tyrese went to this school,
huh.
and yeah, they're just so passionate about helping the community. So I can't give them enough love for everything that they do, and I'm just happy to be a small part of everything that they're
That's so
doing.
nice. Why? What made you decide to check that out?
What was it to begin with? I think there was somebody I was working through USC with, a contractor or something, and then he got hooked. I think he was an educational therapist or something, and he got hooked up with them, and then he referred them to me, and then I started doing classes there, and then he left the picture, and I just kind of stuck with it. I just, really dug doing the gig, so just stuck with it. And here
Nice.
we are 10 years later. So.
Wow. Have you ever brought other musicians over, like as a band?
No, 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 I've never done that. It's all just been by myself. But I've told a lot of cats about it. I've told a lot of people about it actually. So that would be cool to do like a little master class or a little just a playing thing for
That
them.
would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because I think they're all really curious about what my career is like. So they're always asking me like, "Yo, you go out and like you play music for money, man? Like you go out and like you like play music, like perform for people, man?" It's like, yeah, like I'd love to bring that to them. So that would be something.
You know what this reminds me of? Talking to a really cool guy. You probably know him. It's I forget his name right now, but he's the vice president of what is education in the Monk Institute. Do you know
Daniel,
him? No, not Daniel Seif. Um,
I
uh,
probably don't know him. That's
he was really enjoyable to talk to. But talk about an interesting educational system or creation. What they do is they'll bring like some masters and they'll bring them everywhere, wherever around the country. And but what's cool is they'll also take, oh no, what they do is they take college, like the top college players and one experienced master,
okay.
and they'll take them around to high schools and they'll give a performance in a workshop. And in the workshop, like if you're a bass player, you get to hang out with the bass player and
Mhm.
communicate,
So,
on a closer level,
so cool.
so they're not just getting lectured to,
Uh-huh.
and boy, that I should send you a link to that conversation because you probably would just be intrigued, and you should probably know that guy anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, send me the info. Absolutely.
yeah. Okay.
All
Yeah.
all this outreach stuff is so important.
Yeah.
Just especially for kids these days, just so tied into their electronics and everything. Just giving them something so organic and so fresh like this music. It's just yeah, it's so important.
Yeah, that they can accomplish, they can make their body do and have their mind be involved and their creativity.
Yeah,
And yeah, I know it's pretty crucial.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah. Well, I think, I mean, I see that happening a lot, and I see good stuff happening,
Uh-huh.
a lot, don't you?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There's a ton of us doing all this kind of work out there. So.
Yeah, yeah. So do you work on like arrangements for other people as well?
Um, yeah, every once in a while. What are you talking about? Just cats around town, like that kind of thing?
Yeah, musicians, singers, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, I compose and I arrange as well. I actually just did all of the most of the songs on the new Kenny G album. I just wrote 7 or 8 of the tunes on there. So we're co-writing with him and working with him.
Oh, how interesting.
Yeah, that record just came out December. So doing that, he just came to me and just wanted to do like a jazz ballads album, So I just
Oh,
wrote, yeah, a bunch of that, and yeah,
oh,
just various singers throughout town. In town, I've done a lot of Melissa Morgan charts, and I've done a lot of yeah, just various, just all kinds of different things. Um, Giving my arrangements to some like arrangements that I do for my trio to some other singers. There's a singer in San Diego, Sasha Boutros. I've given her a couple of arrangements, and yeah, just yeah, I have to think about more. But yeah, there's so many of that kind of collaborations. I'm all about that. So yeah,
yeah, yeah, that's cool.
arranging.
Are you gonna go back and play at the world stage again?
Yeah, as soon as they start having live audiences, I don't know if they're already doing that.
I'm not sure. About a week and a half ago, I saw a great thing online. Jerry something. He's a spoken word
Okay.
poet guy, and he had a piano and guitar with him, and
Uh-huh.
it was really moving. It was. I was very moved by his words, and the music was kind of perfect. And I wondered if they were, I didn't even see a donate button on the, like
Uh,
they didn't even bring that up, which is kind of weird, but
That's that's a club everybody needs to be supporting. I mean, talk about
yeah,
legendary
right.
bands, right? So that's yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to play there again. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to get the Nolan. Oh, sorry about that. I'd love to get the Nolan, Roy, Henry quartet back together and go in there and blow them out.
It was great. Actually, and Nolan was, good because that's good for Nolan. I mean, he was playing a straight gig for several years. I say straight, kind of straight, straight music gig, and over at the LA Athletics Club, and finally he was like, you know, I think I'm going to move on now.
Oh,
And
the Dave Ross, the Thursday night.
yeah, he's
Oh, I've
very
done
dear
that.
friends. They're dear friends, but I think he was like, okay, I think I did that, and
I played there a handful of times with Ricky and
yeah,
Nolan and Dave Ross, just the four of us with some vocalist from out of town or something.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
always such a wild arrangement of players, but
Well, Dave takes no prisoners. He'll call anyone,
you'll call anyone. Yeah, actually, I just got a call for this Thursday, but I couldn't make it. So, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, so Nolan's not doing that hit anymore, huh?
No,
Oh, good, good. Okay.
yeah, he
Well,
moved.
he's busy with studio stuff. I mean, hey, take this opportunity to shout out how great Nolan is. I mean, just his studio, his skills there. I mean, the room that he's created, just such a spiritual environment to record music in. I've done several recordings there for certain projects, and I just love him. Just his knowledge that he brings to the music. I mean, working with Stevie and Duke Ellington, Count Basie. I mean, he's just done it all. So just to have
Marvin
his
Gaye.
Marvin Gaye, yeah. So just to have his influence on the music is amazing. So and just
Yeah,
such a warm, beautiful soul. I mean, come on, it doesn't get any hipper than Nolan. So
no, Nolan's great. He's really
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Um, um, let's see. Sorry, I was stuck on when Nolan started changing his clothes. I was like, he came in one time, he had those knickers on and stuff. I was like,
Right.
Nolan, what the heck are you doing? And he was like, yeah, I'm.
Right, right. That was cool that he's comfortable doing whatever he wants to do, and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, more power to him. He got that collection of clothes, the whole wardrobe from a friend or something, right?
That I don't know, actually. I
His
don't think I got the
brothers.
story on that.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. He told me at one point. I don't remember. Maybe it was his brother's wardrobe, actually. I don't remember actually, but
Knickers, I mean, those are
yeah.
that's really knickers with the socks and the
Right, right. And there's sometimes the hat too with the bow tie and the whole, yeah, yeah, yeah. Far out, man. Far out. He's
Yeah,
his truly his own cat, beats to the
yeah.
rhythm of his own.
He's such a sweetheart. He's a really good guy, and like you said, real musical and all that. Yeah, and Lou Matthews used to do that LA Athletics Club gig.
Oh, Lou Matthews. Wow. Is he okay? He moved to Michigan or something, right?
Yeah, he moved. He was going through a physical,
He had
a
a
health problem at the
right,
time,
right.
and I think really when he was in LA, it was really kind of basically the last playing he did. He actually I recorded a song with him on this record that I did with different pianists. I because I love duos, so I had 10 different piano players on it,
Cool.
and he was one. We did America together, and
Hmm.
I think that was one of his last things that he recorded actually. And then
Wow.
I'm not sure how he's doing now. Like, as a matter of fact, I keep trying to remember to go, like call his wife or look at the Facebook page or something, to just to see how he's doing.
Yeah, yeah. He was when I first moved to town, he was one of the cats still regularly playing. I would go see him with Dee Dee McNeil all the time,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 good memories.
Yeah, I have to say, with the looking back,
Uh-huh.
um, and thinking about the different keyboardists who were kind of working in town and who were like the professional singers, first call. He was one.
Sure.
Ross Tompkins, as I mentioned, was one, and Tom Garvin
Mm.
was one, and
Mhm.
Alan Broadbent at that time.
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah,
yeah.
so, but Lou is, I experienced some magical stuff singing with Lou. He was just,
Just
wow.
so soulful and just, everything about his playing was just perfect. Just,
Soulful and
yeah, the
harmonically just
grease harmonically happening. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, for sure,
yeah,
for
really
sure.
nice, yeah. Um, do you ever think about what music's going to be like coming up? Do you ever think about that?
You mean in the years to come?
Yeah, jazz specifically.
I think, well, what is jazz? It's
Yeah,
a conglomerate of just so many different styles of music. I see rock elements and hip hop elements and folk elements and fusion and all kinds of things. So I just think it's just going to be more enmeshed as the years go on. It's just all just going to become one thing. Just like yeah, yeah, and just yeah, as long as the groove is there, we'll be all right. I think as soon as that leaves the music, then we're in trouble. But
okay, here, let this, you just opened a little door there.
oh,
So I know, obviously it's different teaching, a singer teaching or a piano player teaching, but I'm constantly, or when I was giving a lot of workshops, I was constantly trying to find good ways to describe groove and how to
mm,
get it to singers.
mm,
You know,
mm.
um, do you how, how do you teach piano players to groove if they don't have a concept of it?
Playing really, really slowly. and really paying attention to the articulation of every single note. I was just working on a student with this yesterday, actually. It's funny. Ladybird, taking the tune of just the melody. It can be any melody, but this is a particularly good melody because it has rhythms that are kind of unknown to the ear if you don't know the music. And we're working on a block chord arrangement of Ladybird at this step.
Oh, wow.
Uh, A, sa, e. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
this, like really just laid back tempo, and not only working on block chords to get the harmonic involvement happening, but just to hear like how would a big band phrase this? How would the Count Basie band articulate every single one of these notes? It's not just 3/4 notes in a row. It's long, short, long, or short, long, short, or whatever it is, and really getting into the nitty gritty of each note, I think, is so important. And yeah,
Do
does
you
that?
emphasize the uh, because I've noticed, especially since I've been taking piano lessons, um, so there's the swing eighth notes, ba ba boo ba doo da, and there's an emphasis on the first note, but really it's the up note, the right second half of the note that gets the lift.
There should always be that triplet undercurrent under every single phrase, right? And there was a great trumpet player in Portland when I was growing up by the name of Thera Memory. I don't know if you've come across him at all. Yeah. Just he was credited for raising Esperanza Spalding.
Oh,
She grew up under his tutelage, but he would tell all of his students, and I was never in his classes, but I hung out with him a fair amount, and he would always say this triplet undercurrent, the doodla doodla oodla doodla oodla doodla 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 doodla. He would have this pulse going under the music, and we would always do that to warm up the bands, like just to get that feel internalized. And yeah, it's true. It's the first and third beat, right? And if you start thinking of your eighth notes in this triplet breakdown, then that swing feel kind of just starts to evolve naturally. So it's true. First and third.
okay. Now, what about when you hear people or you yourself play straight eighth notes? Because there is that, and I don't mean dot 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 dot, but there's I can't even explain it. I don't know if you know what I mean. But well, like Charlie Hayden actually comes to mind. So sometimes Charlie Hayden will really do a groovy thing, but a lot of times he doesn't. He's a little more even, you know? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think of Charlie's playing as just completely in the middle of the beat, like perfectly in line. It doesn't rush, it doesn't drag. It's right there. And a lot of the Charlie Hayden that I've heard, that's not the quarter note pulse. Like a good example is his duos with Hank Jones, the spirituals that they recorded together. Steal Away is the name of the record. They did 2 albums, but his half note, his understanding of the half note and the whole note, getting a lot of meaning out of that. I don't know if you can call that straight time,
Yeah.
but just the way he really starts the beat right on the beat, and it just holds for as long as you can until that next middle of the beat, right?
Yeah.
That having that kind of application even through eighth notes, is really helpful to visualize, I think.
Somebody told me that it doesn't like swing, obviously, there's the swing feel, but in bossa novas, they said it doesn't happen as much. Is that the way you feel?
What doesn't happen as much?
The swing
The,
feel
the
of
swing feel.
we're
I think
talking
it's a
about
different. I think it's a
melody.
different kind of swing. It is
Yeah,
straight, but it's got that. They have their own pocket. I
right.
don't know how to describe it. I'm a horrible Brazilian bossa nova player. I don't. Lucia, I work with Luciana Salza a lot. And she's always like writing out rhythms for me to like really internalize and it's, just feeling the offbeat and but they have their own groove.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it is. It is interesting. I
Yeah.
need to study that more.
Well, let's hear some more Sam Hirsch. Yeah, I
You
wonder
won't
what.
hear me playing any straight rhythms on YouTube. Something I do very often.
Oh, there's the girls in New York. We were hanging out. Jay Clayton and Kate McGarry and Kendra Shank and Kate. She was married to a great guitar player who died a year or two ago. Really great player. I forget his name.
Damn, I don't know any of those people. I need to check them
Oh,
out.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. All good jazz people. Let's see. Well, uh, okay.
Oh wow. Yeah, this was the first ever Jazz Bakery at home streamed concert.
Ah,
When the pandemic started, I think it was in May or June or something. Oh, July. Yeah, yeah. This, my goodness, I was so nervous for this concert.
really?
Yeah, it was my first ever live stream show. I think there's skips in the video. They had some problems with the video camera.
Yeah. The sound is good.
The sound is good. Yeah. Wow.
Love that. Was that yours?
That was a tune of mine called the Kyoto Shuffle. Yeah. It was
Oh,
dedicated to my hometown of Kyoto, Japan. Uh,
very nice.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I that just brought back so many memories of how nervous I was for that concert. Oh my goodness, I hadn't done a live stream before, and yeah, the world had just shut down, and the bakery. Ruth came to me. I'm good friends with Ruth. I worked with her for years at UCLA now, and she came to me, and she was just like, I want to do a live stream, and I was like, oh, with the band, that'd be great, She said, no, just solo at your house. It's like I had grown up listening to the Jazz Bakery records that she's produced, and it's like, wow, this is gonna be just me playing this in my living room. That's a trip. So, yeah, I was so nervous, but yeah, that was the start of the pandemic playing for me. I did like a live stream show for wow, 8 or 9 months, and it was because that show, and I was like, oh, I need to get better at playing in front of a camera, so I would just sit in my living room like every Tuesday, I think it was Tuesday, and just play for 3 hours. It started out 3 hours, then it'd be 2 hours, and then it was just an hour, and then I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. as the world started to move again, so yeah. But yeah, that concert was really vital for me to just like get over my fears and play. Just getting used to playing in front of a camera. I think we've all done that at this point. No audience, no applause. And it was tough at first, but and hopefully we don't have to do that ever again. But
Yeah, I know what you mean. I recently did a set with Gary Fukushima. So Gary and I have worked together a lot, and we know each other's what we do, and so it's good. But you can't help but think that the audience is on the other side of the camera, and it's kind of weird.
right, yeah, never get all the way used to it, but.
Right.
I'm glad we had that technology and we were able to broadcast and share our love for the music with everyone at that time.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was good.
And it sounded great. I love the song. Really nice song.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's a trio arrangement, so playing it solo piano is kind of tricky.
Yeah. That's a whole other thing, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
um, let's see. I know you're getting married soon.
hmm Next week?
Congratulations on that. Is your wife a musician?
No, she's a psychotherapist.
Cool.
But I think those professions have a lot in common. Just the ability to, well, first of all, help people, right? I mean, just share something, their knowledge, but also just to think on your feet in the moment, go with the flow of things, just really be kind of free form,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and also just freelance as well. So that's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Um, I thought I would mention to you and to those listening, I don't know if you knew that Barbara Morrison is in the hospital right now.
Oh,
Um, yeah, she's having cardiovascular disease
oh,
problems, and her medical bills are okay because she has good insurance. But as you know, she runs a lot of things in Lamert Park, so she has a big monthly nut. So we're doing a GoFundMe for her.
oh, I'll
So
definitely donate some money to that.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, everybody can go to look for that, or you can find it on my Facebook page as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks for
Barbara
letting me
Morrison.
know.
Yeah, she's
Wow.
like
Legend, living
yeah,
legend. Yeah.
legend,
I
hero.
was, yeah, here, absolutely. I was the pianist for the jam session at the Barbara Morrison Performing Arts Center with Jacques Lejour. Do you ever come across him?
Oh, yeah, yeah, I know
10,
Jacques.
10 years ago or even more. And she would come out all the time and hang and sit with us. And yeah, yeah, just amazing, amazing.
Yeah, she's an amazing person, and as if as if diabetes wasn't enough, and then both
Yeah,
legs amputated, and then
right.
she travels anyway. She travels internationally. She'll do 3 gigs in a day. I mean, she's really, and then she keeps everything afloat there, the Barbara Morrison Performing Arts Center and the Jazz and Blues Museum.
Mm,
Yeah, she's really an amazing,
amazing.
amazing spirit. Yeah. So
Wow.
that's cool. And yeah, while I'm kind of just talking about a few things, you may want to know about this. There's something that just came on my plate yesterday was there's a nonprofit organization called Jazz in the Ballroom from San Francisco,
Mhm.
and the woman who runs it uh, is really upset about the Ukraine, as most of us are, and so she created 3 charity charity events, one here, one in San Francisco, and one in New York, and she knows a lot of really great musicians. So the one here is March 25th, which is Friday, and that's at the Skirball,
Oh, wow.
and I will not remember this guy's name. It's a Polish name. Yeah, I want to go to my Facebook page and tell you. You might know this guy. I really do. I have not heard of him, but he has a very interesting story. His dad, it's just like a whole interesting story about it. Let's see. Oh, I wonder if I got it on. Yes, I did. Oh, yeah, yeah. That it was with the Barbara Morrison thing. I'm trying to not do. Oh no, that's. I'm trying to not send so many emails out. I
Mm,
find it difficult because there's so many things going on. There's okay, 2 things. So the guy's name is pa- it's Paszkudzi. Conrad.
Konrad Padzewski?
Yes.
Yeah, he played piano for Pizzarelli's band for a long
Oh.
time. Yeah,
Okay, so and how do you say his last name?
I think it's Padsitsky. Padsitsky?
Yes, yes, Patskutski, something
Padsitsky,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And with his trio, and including Pasquale Grasso,
Rosso? Oh, wow, wow. Heavy.
and Samara Joy.
Oh, wow, cool. That's at the
That's
Super Bowl?
yeah, Skirball, Friday the
Super Bowl.
25th. Yeah.
Cool. Oh, that's heavy. Great.
Yeah, really, really cool. So, yeah, so there's some really
And that's a
cool.
Ukraine fundraiser?
Yes.
Oh, good, good,
Yeah,
good.
and you can, if you can't go, you can
Cool.
donate, at their site, Jazz in the Ballroom. I think that's what it's called, Jazz in the Ballroom. I just found out about her yesterday, so I'm
I
gonna go
know a
help
few
her.
guys have. I know a lot of guys that have played that venue in San Francisco.
Oh,
So
oh,
that's cool that she's doing the 3 cities and doing it, making it happen.
yeah,
Great.
she sounded really nice. Actually, Dave Ross introduced her to me because
Okay.
looking for, like 5 people to help, and like in an hour I had 5 people to help, and
Uh-huh,
and
uh-huh,
I
uh-huh.
just and I called her instead of emailed her because, you know, speaking to people is just so much hipper.
Yeah, I hear that.
And
I hear
yeah, she told me about, what she was doing, and just sounded so good.
hmm hmm
So yeah,
Wow. Wow. Very cool.
yeah. And yeah, so let's see. Any other burning questions I'm going to ask you? Um, you know, sometimes I don't ask like, what's your practice routine? And I mean, sometimes actually a cool story might be your favorite tour memory up to date, or something that some gig that you just totally loved that you will never forget.
Mm,
Kind of cool.
okay. Okay.
What about that? Anything?
Oh, wow. Um, I've done a lot.
Any gig just pop out at you and you just go, that was a great gig.
Geez, there's been so many of those. I have some gigs coming up that might be memorable. Well, actually, you know what? The most recently, I went up to Paso Robles. Have you ever been up to in
Yeah, you
California?
mean that new room up there?
There's a new room up there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Libretto is the name of it. I just took my trio up there a month ago, and it was one of the greatest shows I've played. They packed the house, so much love in the room, beautiful Steinway D. I mean, just incredible. They treated us like rock stars. I mean, the whole thing was phenomenal. I'm going back up there. I'll do a solo night, and then I'll play with my trio in May. And so that's probably the most recent, just epic gig. We had such a good time up there. And it's such a great place for LA cats to go now. Just another regular spot, you know.
Yeah.
It's well worth the drive. So
Yeah, I've
that's
talked to several people who have gone up there.
yeah.
Um, Libretto, it's called.
Libretto, yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then the coffee shop across the street is called Amsterdam, and he has a Steinway B in that room. So it's just incredible.
That's where you do the solo, right?
That's where I'm doing the solo, yeah, and then the trio's across the street. So yeah,
What what a cool situation. It's
yeah,
great.
yeah. If you're ever in the mood for a road trip, whoever's listening, I don't know, but yeah, just that's a great place to go and see some music for sure.
Yeah, yeah. That's
About three and a
cool.
half hours away. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So on the way to San Francisco.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be there with my solo May 5th and then trio May 6th.
Cool. That's
Yeah,
great. I
yeah.
know I know John Leftwich went up there with somebody. Oh, well, Pat Coyle brought him up because Pat lives up there now,
Oh wow.
Paso Robles. And do you know
I don't
Pat?
know. I don't know Pat, no.
Pat is
I don't know John either.
really?
I've seen John play a handful of times with her Hubert Laws, but I've never met him before. Yeah.
He's a very smart and talented human
Uh-huh.
and nice. But
Cool.
yeah, he's a smart guy. And but Pat, did I say Pat Kelly? I did say Pat Kelly, right?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
he taught at USC while I was there, I believe. He's a guitar player, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a really tasteful guitar player.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I mean, really successful and very
Yes.
tasteful too.
Studio cat. He did a lot of studio work, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, dig. Okay.
yeah.
I
So I
never
just
met.
thought I'd show people your website and
Oh,
you know,
okay.
just for the heck of it, you know,
Sure.
um, and see at the mid. Oh, with Tina.
Tina
Cool.
was there just last Sunday. We got Max Hamer opening for me this weekend. Hamilton High School will be in next weekend.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah, the Jazz Butchers, a fusion band. The Catalyst, do you know Catalyst?
No, where's that?
Great, big. It's a band, a Catalyst Collective. It's like this hip hop, jazz, R&B, soul funk band. It's amazing. A lot of
Okay, wait a
cats in
minute.
it.
I'm writing this down because that would be, if I
Yeah,
can come, I'd like to come and
yeah,
see.
come out April 3rd. I had them play in November, and it was a blowout show. I mean, they just packed
Oh,
the place and just so much fun.
wow. And
Yeah.
then, oh, you're playing at Bacchus?
Yeah, that'll be a really fun. It's like a $90 ticket, but it's like
Yeah.
four course meal. It's great. They got a nice Yamaha C7 there, and yeah, that'll be really fun. I can't wait. I've seen a lot of great music at Bacchus, so
Cool. And then here you guys are.
that, yeah.
Oh, and you're playing at LACMA.
We're at LACMA. Yeah, I've been there so many times as a sideman, so just to hit that as a leader for the first time is going to be great.
You're booked out quite a bit
Yeah,
into July.
yeah, and I have some more things in the works
Wow.
after that, but they're not set in stone yet. So we'll just keep adding to the list.
That's cool. I'm going back east. Well, I'm going back east this week, but I'm also going back east in June
Okay.
And I got two really nice gigs with. I'm so looking forward to it. I don't know if you know these guys. So the first gig will be at June 1st at the Soapbox Gallery in Brooklyn, which is a really
Okay.
cool room.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard of the soapbox. I've never been there myself.
Yeah, it's really nice. This gallery owner, he's an artist. He does really
Uh-huh.
great work.
Uh-huh.
And it'll be Jim Riddle on piano and Dean Johnson on bass and Tim Horner on drums. And then at the end of my trip, which is June 19th, I'm playing at the Deerhead Inn in the Poconos. And I don't know if you know that place, but that's a really nice place too. A
The
lot of
Gearhead
people,
Inn is classic. Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm playing with Mark Copeland. Wow. Mark
Wow. Cool.
Copeland and Drew Gress and Mike.
Whoa. Oh, heavy. Those are Deerhead Inn steadies. They're always in there, I think.
Exactly. Yeah.
So cool.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Oh,
These are great pictures. I think I used this one.
oh, nice,
You have
nice.
a great laugh.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And there's Benny, one of your mentors.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Oh, Willis, Bill Holman. Yeah.
yeah, man, Bill Holman, Kenny Barron, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And look at that picture. That is so cool.
yeah.
And John Clayton. And who is this?
Throughout the years. That's my dad.
Oh, cool. And these guys, I don't recognize these guys, I think.
John Weber on the left. He played bass on my first record. He was Jimmy Cobb's bass player, Harold Mayburn's bass
Oh,
player, Johnny Griffin's bass player. He played with Cedar Walton for a while. And that's my like old family friend. Like he's kind of like my goddad in a way. Gary Moran. He's a really great piano player, but he lives in New York and Florida. He splits his time, and
huh.
he's the one that introduced me to John Weber. That's at a party at his house on the Upper West Side, actually, his apartment. So that was a nice day.
Cool. These are great photos, man.
Oh, hold on.
There's Kenny.
Yeah,
Cool. And
Greg
who's
Fillingham.
this guy?
That's Walter Afanasieff. He actually introduced me to Kenny. He's one of the greatest pop writers to live. He wrote all of Mariah Carey's hits.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
lucky to call him a good friend of mine. He wrote like "All I Want for Christmas Is You."
Really?
Yeah, so he makes a bundle every December. He did all of Kenny's records actually up for the last like 35 years as well. So yeah,
Oh, that's great.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, this is really cool. Yeah, I want to thank you so much for for coming on.
yeah. Thanks for
I know it's a chunk of time and
No, it worked out perfect. I have to go to a thing right now, so it's worked out perfectly timing wise. So
cool.
great, thank
Well,
you.
Sam Hirsch, thank you so much. I will contact you about opening for your performance
Sure.
Monday. But
Yeah.
yeah, but all of the stuff you're doing sounds great. I'll try and get over. Um,
Huh,
I'll try
huh.
and get over as soon as I can.
Yeah, yeah. Please do, please do. Yeah. I have a new record coming out in like May. I didn't talk about that at all. So yeah, just be on the lookout for that. It's a little different kind of vibe. It's not all straight ahead jazz. There's no straight ahead jazz on it.
What
It's all
is it?
there's some solo tracks, solo piano, solo Wurlitzer, and then there's some gospel choir tracks. I've got some vocalists on there. There's a lot of backbeat stuff, some hip hop. I got a rapper on
Oh,
there. Yeah, I call it Quarantine Dreams is the name of it. And it was started out as I got into playing these computer beats on Logic, just making stuff up on this computer program throughout the pandemic. And then I took it to a producer friend of mine. I said, "Yo, what can we do with this?" And he's like, "Let's make a record." And at first it was just going to be an EP, but then since now it's become an 11 track full album. So I'm really excited to share that with everybody. It's going to be really, really. I love the music on there. So stay tuned for that.
that's great.
Yeah,
That's great, Sam. And do you know the title yet?
it's called Quarantine Dreams is
Oh,
the
I'm
name of
sorry.
the record.
Quarantine
Yeah,
Dreams.
yeah,
Yeah, you did say
yeah,
that already.
yeah. So be on the lookout. Yeah, right, right.
Um, and there's congratulations. People are congratulating you on your nuptials.
Oh, right on. I'm so excited. We've got a bunch of family and friends coming in from all over starting this weekend. So this party time.
think it's great.
Yeah.
Have fun,
Yeah.
man. Do you have a
Yeah.
band at the wedding?
No, no live music. We got all just tracks. Yeah. But a ton of musicians in the audience, no doubt. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun though.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, have a good time.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Kathy.
Sam.
Hope to see
Thanks
you
a
in
lot.
person sometime soon.
Me too. I'll
Yeah,
do my
yeah,
best.
yeah. Right on, right on. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And you can leave because I'll just talk a little to the audience just to tell them what's upcoming. But
Okay.
thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you so much,
It was a
Kathy.
pleasure talking.
Yes, absolutely. Have a great day and a great week and all that.
Okay, you too. Bye.
Hey, bye.
My guest, Sam Hirsh. Very good young man. I think of him as young. He probably thinks there are younger guys coming up, but anyway, I just wanted to tell you that I'm actually headed out to the East Coast tomorrow for a week to hang out with some family while I'm there. So for the next week and a half, I will be posting from the archives. Just to give you a quick idea of what that sounds like, looks like Claire Martin, the great jazz singer from the UK, Will Brahm, great guitar player from here, Bevan Manson, genius, one guy, 1 foot in classical and 1 foot in jazz, Janice Borla, she's a Chicago-based jazz singer, David Pilch, wonderful bass player who's played with a very varied group of people. Claudia Villela, Brazilian. She lives up the coast, up the west coast, but she's very well renowned. She's worked with Kenny Werner a little bit, and so on. And speaking of Brazilian, Katina De Luna, who's beautiful heart, singer, piano player, composer, arranger. Katina De Luna, and she's also married to Atmara Ruiz. Then I have Thursday the 17th, I have two people. One is my singing teacher, Stephen Kronauer, who is a child prodigy of classical singing. And then Stephen Nachmanovich, the author and improvisational violinist. He's the author of Free Play, Improvisation in Life and the Arts, and also The Art of Is, which was like a follow-up to Free Play. Nick Mancini is on, and also on Sunday the 20th, Russell Ferrante. Today's guest was number 408. When I come back on March 21st with my live people, that will be 409. You can always look at my website for information. I have a book that I just came out with, The Act of Becoming. It's a very small book, philosophical. It's sold on Amazon and Book Locker. You can get it digitally and hard copy. Soon to be released on Kindle. The Act, not the art, The Act of Becoming. And if you go on my site, I also have these stickers, which are just fun. And sometimes I send them to my guests. Like, Launch Rockets of Desire. See, it has my logo. And Art is the tie that unites the planet. And I like this one best. You are headed in the right direction. I always like that. Let the heart have its way. And all it takes is one human. And these are comments that I've picked up from my guests. I mean, I'm going to start working on another book and listening to each hang that I did and writing down the aha moments that I personally had, and then gathering them into probably 2 books, I'm guessing. But it's going to take a little while. But I'm just breathing after I finished that Act of Becoming. That only took me 15 years, so for 51 pages. But anyway, I finished it. I'm so proud of myself. I actually finished a book. It's great. So, ladies and gentlemen, have a great time, great week and a half without me live on, and but you can see me. You can always tune in around 12, and you'll see the archives for each day. Thank you so much. Thanks to my guest, Sam Hirsh. I look forward to going out and hearing him live again. If you're in LA, you really should do that. He's a really great player.